Hello there guys, and welcome back to another epic Inexorable video. In this video we're taking a look at finding the equation of a straight line, the full equation in the form y equals mx plus c. We're going to figure out what c is, as well as m, and sometimes we'll be given m, sometimes we won't. We're going to figure out how to find the actual full equation, y equals mx plus c, of a line. All you need to do that is the gradient and 1 point, or 2 points. If you know 2 points on a line, you can actually find out the entire equation of it. Or, as I say, 1 point and the gradient. That's all you need. So the questions that they ask you will be a mixture of giving you the gradient and 1 point, or just giving you 2 points. And then what you'll have to do is figure out what the gradient between those 2 points is, and then you can use either of the points with the gradient, because then you only need 1 point and the gradient, okay? So this will all make sense soon. There is a new formula, guys, that we must be aware of. If you know the gradient of a straight line, we're going to call that gradient m, just like always. And one pair of coordinates, so we're going to call that pair of coordinates x1, y1. You can find out what the full equation of the line is using this magical formula here. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Something to know about this formula, because it's not necessarily obvious. You don't need to know what this y and this x are. You don't plug anything into them. The only things that you actually plug into this formula are the y1, the x1, and the m. You need to keep the y and the x as a y and an x, because y and x will be in the equation of the line. Y equals mx plus c. You don't want to substitute things into those, because then you'll lose them. You need the actual equation. So you don't need this y and you don't need this x. They're not things that you need to find. They stay. They literally are a part of the answer. Okay? So let's try out a question. Let's just go straight into it, guys. Bit of fun. Find the equation of the line with the gradient of 2, so they're telling us the gradient, which passes through the point 2, 5. Okay, so guys, we just plug things into the formula. And remember, you will need to rearrange this equation when you plug things into this formula. You'll need to rearrange it, but it shouldn't be too difficult. So let's just give it a go. Right, we're going to start this off straight away. Y, that does not change. You always put that in your answer. Minus y1. Now guys, if we're assuming that this point is x1, y1, then y1, which is right here in this formula, that's 5. So y minus 5 is equal to m. M is 2. We get told gradient is 2. M is the gradient. 2. The first x always stays because it's just an arbitrary x. That's going to be in our answer. That's going to be in our mx part. Minus x1. x1 is 2. And guys, all we need to do is rearrange this. And we need to get it into the form y equals mx plus c. So let's just expand this bracket out. So we get y minus 5 equals 2x, because this is 2 times x, and then 2 times minus 2 is minus 4, just like that. Okay, looking like we're getting closer. And guys, we don't want y minus 5, we just want what y equals. We want y equals mx plus c, not y minus 5 equals mx plus c. So how do we get rid of this minus 5? We add 5 to both sides. So we get y equals 2x, and then minus 4 plus 5 is plus 1, positive 1. Plus 1. And this is now in the form y equals mx plus c. Do you see that? So m is 2. Remember, m is always going to be 2. Like, just look at, oh, sorry, wrong 2. This is the 2 that we're talking about. Duh, obviously. It's so easy, guys. So easy. Obviously, that's the gradient. I'm just joking. So yes, the gradient there is 2. That's going to be in front of the x all the time. This is y. This is m. That's the gradient plus c. And in this case, we found out that c is 1. Which means if we were to plot this graph, it would go through the y-axis at the point 0, 1, because we've got a 1 here, okay? So remember c, for any polynomial, guys, quadratic, cubic, quartic, quintic, or a straight line, the constant at the end be it a C, a D, an E, whatever we're using, that constant at the end is always the y-intercept, always, for any polynomial. And a straight line graph, this equation of a straight line is a polynomial just like all the others. So that right there goes to the point 0, 1, because that is the y-intercept. So let's take a look at another one and see if we can do that. Okay guys, in this example, we're actually going to be given 2 coordinates and not the gradient. You might be thinking, well, we need the gradient. How do we do this? We don't actually need 2 points because there's no like x2 and y2 in this formula. So how do we do it? Well, guys, of course, you can figure out what the gradient is. As we know from the last video, you can figure out what the gradient is by using 2 points. So if we recall the formula, I will write it down here. The gradient of a straight line is going to be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, like that. I'm going to put a box around that, so we're going to remember this. We're going to need this now, because we are going to figure out what m is, okay? So m, we're going to write this is the step 1. M is going to equal, okay, so if we let this be x1, y1, x2, y2, we can just substitute in. So this is y2 minus, this is y1, divided by x2, which is 3, minus, and then this is x1, like that. And if we simplify this, 8 minus 4, guys, of course, 8 minus 4 is 4, and 3 minus 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 1 is 4, which means the gradient m is 4. So now, guys, we can actually use this formula down here. Now, we don't need both of these points. You can choose which point you use. You can either use 2, 4 or 3, 8. Whichever one you prefer. If you don't have a preference, just choose one. It doesn't really matter. You don't need to use a specific one of these. You can use either. You will actually get the same answer by using this one or this one. Try it. I'm going to use 2, 4, but if you want to, you can try this using 3, 8. You will get the same thing. If you don't, then we're a little bit worried, because you will. So I'm going to use 2, 4, but if you want to, you can do this with 3, 8, or you can just not do anything, because how am I supposed to know? So we're going to say that this is going to be our x1 and our y1. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. x1 is 2, y1 is 4, because we're using this one. We could use this one, but we're going to use this one because I just prefer the number 2 and 4. I just hate the numbers 3 and 8. They're awful. 2 and 4, they're brilliant. So I'm going to use that one. It doesn't actually matter. So just using this formula, remember y and x don't mean anything. We just need y1 and x1. They are what we actually substitute in. So substituting into the formula, we're going to get y minus y1, which is 4, is going to equal m. M is also 4. X, that doesn't change, but x1 is 2. So x minus 2, just like that. Look at that. And then, guys, we just need to expand the bracket, simplify it, make y the subject. So coming down here, y minus 4, I'm going to expand the brackets out, is equal to 4 times x, which is 4x. And then 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. And then I'm going to add 4 to both sides because I want to make y the subject. So I get y equals 4x minus 8 plus 4 is minus 4, like that. And this is in the form y equals mx plus c. So guys, as you can see, no pun intended, you can actually figure out the equation of a straight line using either one single pair of coordinates and its gradient, or just 2 pairs of coordinates. And then you can figure out the gradient and use either one of those coordinates, whichever one suits your fancy. So you guys, do you see how we use this formula and this formula together in synergy in order to actually solve a problem? We needed both of these formulas to do this, okay? This formula is so important, but equally so is this one. You will need this quite a lot in your A-level career. It's really helpful. Both of them are. Okay? And I don't know whether they're in the formula booklets, depends on what exam board you do, but both of them are really, really, really essential. So that's how you do it, guys. That's how you find the equation of a straight line. Okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one.